it's still the same. September 28th. I don't want to forget this. That's why I'm recording it. So I have, a lot more older clients. And like this awareness. So one client in particular who's older, she was open to me doing her birth chart. This is my 80-year-old client. And, she's open to that world and not really knowing a lot, but enough to where she's comfortable. And so in her chart, it highlighted the need for her to focus on her. Like that was her North Node was put in the 6th house, which is about your self-care, your well-being, the day-to-day stuff. And that was where her North Node lied. It was in bringing the attention from everywhere else back to her. And so I shared that, because one of the things that she had shared was being worried that she wasn't going to fulfill whatever purpose she had in this lifetime. That was one of her worries. And I think that's when I introduced that idea. And it's just a great fit. Like, I'm learning from her, I'm learning from all of my clients. But it's this beautiful exchange between us, as it is with all my clients. I think it's just slightly different because she's the oldest client that I have. And so, you learn, life teaches you things when you're open to learning, right? When you're open to listening to what you're being taught. And so that was one of her fears. So the whole time, like, that's one of our goals, is for her to implement self-care, because a lot of the intention was going outside of her to attend to other people's needs versus herself. And it just so happened that for her North Node is in self-care. So learning to let go of attending to other people's needs and being okay with that, so that she can redirect that energy towards her. So it's something new for her. She's not used to doing it. She's just now starting to embrace it at 80 years old. At 80 years old, right? This is where she just started embracing that energy. And I just got off the phone with another client who's also older. But this particular client is traditional Latino community, and so it's a little different. There's this inner knowing within her about just not being happy where she's at anymore. COVID impact, reevaluating, like with all of us, our what's important to us. And for her, she realized, like, she's not happy where she's at. And there's a lot of other fears that I don't know if I'm still trying to gauge if it's there. They seem very valid, but at the same time, I don't know if it's just a fear that wasn't clarified for her, or I don't do family therapy, so I don't know what the dynamics are, but I know it's a traditional household. And, in traditional households, it's the men that control everything, right? It's the men that communicate with the doctors. It's the men that have the last say. And in this particular family subunit, or parents, or husband and wife, the husband is really struggling with the fact that he can't control his wife anymore because she's refusing to do things, and she's trying to exert her power by not following through. And so there's this belief that something's wrong with her. But in our conversations, it's very clear, like, she's repeated it over and over. She's just not happy with her situation, but she also knows she can't get out, like, because she's older. So why am I bringing this up? I wonder if in this lifetime for her, it was just to get to that level of awareness. It was just to get to that level of awareness, so that in the next life cycle, she works towards getting herself unstuck. Like that, I think that's something that I've always been stuck on. It's if I'm entertaining, right, this new world, this new, the progression of the next life, right, that we've come from previous life cycles. So past lives, that means there's future lives. Will we start from where we left off, right? With new challenges, with new experiences, right? But I wonder if it's still the starting point and of where we left off. And so then, not forcing other people to completely make any changes, but it's more of just like, this is just what you needed to learn in this life cycle, right? However long it took you. So then I started wondering, because on the birth chart, there's degrees, right? There's you're Gemini, but you're like 3 degrees Gemini or something like that. And I've never really understood that part, but I wonder, I remember MJ saying, like, you're at the end. This is like your last opportunity to learn some lesson or something, depending on the planet positions. And with this particular client, they're not open to that. Like, not that I've asked, I just kind of gauged it. And I didn't ask. It wasn't something that I was comfortable introducing just because of how they operated. So but I wonder what her chart says in terms of her North Node and like if she's at the end of that particular lesson, so that in the next life cycle it just picks up where she left off, right? Having to repeat any of the life lessons that she missed out on, because I think back about the man, the black man that I identified with emotionally in one of my visions, and this knowing that if he could just speak up, he would save himself, and that he was being wrongfully accused, and he was in prison, he was in jail, and just the emotional connection that I had with him, and I wondered, like, if that was a past life, right, that I had at one point, and how, I just felt so connected to this man, and that's been a cycle that's been repeated, right, in at least in this lifetime for me, right? Maybe I should do a past life regression. I'd just be curious to know if that really was a life that I had, because I'd be curious to know a little more about that. So the other reason why I bring it up, suicide, people who end their life. I wonder if they realize that they just will end up repeating it. That they'll end up, it's not a funny thing to laugh about, because there's pain involved in that process. But if there's an awareness of, like, you know what, if I'm here, this is something I need to work through so that I don't have to repeat it again, right? And so will that then discourage people from taking that out, so that the next life cycle, it's not compounded, right? It because it was a personal choice to end the life, right? That cycle, that life cycle. And so this coming back will be just where you left off, right? And or will be depending on how that end occurred. Because I'm thinking about the research that other gentleman was doing, that other person was doing in, what was it? I forget his name. But he wrote books on it, and he's been researching it, and how traumatic the death is, and then the person who comes back, they've tried to, like, find in their in the communities where it's very the belief is stronger, how the person who then embodies, right, that transformation for the new cycle, there's something in their body, a physical mark on their body to indicate that that's who they were, aside from the stories that they share from that past life. And so the impact was such that, I mean, I wonder, I don't know, I just wonder, because I was thinking about this particular client and how she feels so stuck and she doesn't know what brings her joy anymore. What used to bring her joy, she realized, she's like, I never paid attention, is what she said. And so then I asked her, well, when was it when you first started paying attention? And then she was able to identify a moment in time, and how after that everything just seemed so mundane, very like it didn't honestly, I feel like it was like her spiritual awakening. It just, as best as she could describe it, not being aware and then becoming aware, and just not seeing things in the same way anymore, and being conflicted with that awareness, and then realizing, like, but this is my life, like, what do I do? And then feeling the stuckness because of her age. I wonder, I don't know. That's why I'm bringing it up, so I don't forget to look at that or consider that. Just for future reference, I guess. That's all. Hey you, my name is Yubi and I use she, they pronouns, and you've just finished watching a clip from my video diary entries where I'm documenting my healing journey as I learn how to navigate my spiritual awakening. I have learned that this experience and process is unique to each and every one of us in whatever way we are embracing living our truth. This just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of formal mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself as these experiences unfold, and really inviting you along for the ride. Please know that there is a time gap between when these videos post and my real timeline, and also that these clips build upon each other similar to chapters in a book. So if you find yourself lost or confused, feel free to click on the playlist section or the link below, where you can jump around, check out the other chapters, and or catch up. Also, please know that you're more than welcome to check out my website, www.youbecominghealed.com, where I've gathered all of this information, my background, experience, and education, to create online self-paced courses to help you on your healing journey wherever you are. You're also more than welcome to check out my other YouTube channel at You Becoming Healed, where I've entertained a podcast including clips from these courses so that I can make this content accessible to more and more people. Please click like, subscribe, and share this content so again it reaches more people, with the hopes that other people will resonate and connect with the healing journey and the stories shared, so that they don't feel alone in their own process. I thank you in advance. I'm grateful to you, and I wish you well.